Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are the Lions.
Here in Cincinnati, under cloudy skies, it's apropos that they're giving out blankets, Reds blankets, because it is a little bit chilly here at Great American Ballpark today as the Reds and the Astros meet in the middle game of this three-game series. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Couch, along with Chris Welsh. Welcome to Reds baseball. Well, the Reds fell last night to this Houston ball club, first game of this series. They try to get even today. Chris, this Houston club, you look at them and you think, well, they haven't had a playoff team since 2005, haven't had a plus 500 club since 2008, and now they look like they're starting to come back.
Well, you know, look at the numbers on them last year. They lost 106 ball games, and this year they're even better than their numbers indicate. They've scored more. They've scored 10 more runs than they've given up. Now, if you believe in the Pythagorean theorem, and I know that you do, Jim Kelch, that means that they should be over 500 by a game and not under 500 by 4 games. So it's a team that is overachieving maybe on the field, but I'll tell you what, they're a team that they're like the little engine that could. Did you ever read that little kid's book? And these guys really think that they can. And they've got a guy named Jose Altuve who's showing everybody that he can. At 5 feet 5 inches tall, this guy is showing the world that he's big enough to play Major League Baseball.
I mean, he's not the only young man that they have. How about this guy, J.D. Martinez?
Well, he can swing the bat, and that was the word on him right from the very time he stepped into the Major League batter's box. He's got a good swing. He gets to the ball quickly. He's got a nice, compact, but powerful swing that he sometimes does not get fooled on breaking balls that you think he would. So you put those two guys in the middle of the lineup, which is what Brad Mills has done, and you think, hey, maybe we're going to get some hits out here. They don't have the kind of power that the Reds do, but they're up there swinging the bat. They showed Mike Leake last night that they can swing it and get a lot of hits.
Well, those young men will be up there today against Johnny Cueto. He tries to be the stopper on this Red staff, trying to end the 2-game losing streak.
and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Bundle up is the word of the day today. Today's weather report at the ballpark brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Let's take a look at it with Scott Dimmick of WKRC Channel 12. Scott.
Unfortunately, there will be a significant chance for showers and thunderstorms just in time for the big game this afternoon and this evening. 59 at first pitch, 57 for the 7th inning stretch. The final out down to 54. Be on the lookout for strong and severe storms if you're headed down to Great American Ballpark. Hopefully, they'll be able to get the game in and they'll avoid a rain delay. Enjoy the game.
All right, thank you, Scott. Johnny Queto, 5th time around now, Chris Welsh, for the right-hander.
You know, it seems like ever since Johnny Cueto adopted that Louis T on turn, he's become more and more confident in his stuff. And it seems like the hitters have a harder and harder time timing him. Now, he still doesn't do that out of the stretch, but out of that full windup, you see that big turn, and guys are taking more and more of that moving fastball. What I was really impressed about Cueto last time was the fact that he was able to throw so many off-speed pitches without very much effort. And then when he needed it at 94, he threw it right by those Cubs hitters. Lucas Harrell, former Chicago White Sox minor leaguer, he's a young man that throws about 92 miles an hour. He really pushes the fastball. You're going to see this guy talk to himself during the game today, so keep an eye on Lucas as this matchup of right-handers continues right after this.
Are we talking about a la Mark Fidrich here?
We'll have to wait and see.
Second game of this 3-game series from Great American Ballpark. Reds and the Astros right around the corner. Sports Ohio is brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year by Cincinnati USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com, and by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. A little overcast, as you can see, but inside a good crowd has gathered. They want to see a Reds victory here today to get even in this series against the Houston Astros, who hung on and won over the Reds last night by the final score of 6-4. And here's what Brad Mills puts out there today in terms of his batting order. Jordan Schaefer, Jose Altuve, and Jed Lowry, the top three. J.D. Martinez in the cleanup spot. Travis Buck in there today, and then Matt Downs back at first base. Chris Johnson, Chris Snyder, and then batting ninth and pitching the right-hander Lucas Harrell.
Johnny Queto could easily be 4-0 right now instead of 2-0, but here he is at age 26. He has 120 starts in the major leagues. He finds himself 6 games over 500 in his career, and he's always been among the guys that you consider, especially starting last year, among the best earned run averages in the league. The guy simply doesn't give up very many runs.
He's ready to work here against a left-handed swinging Jordan Schaefer, the center fielder of the Astros, to get this afternoon's game started. And he drops a breaking ball in there for a strike, and we are underway. Game number 21 of the 2012 season. Middle game of this 3-game series. Schaefer quickly down 2 strikes. He comes in at 260. A couple of home runs, 8 runs batted in. 1 for 5 last night that kept the hitting streak alive at 5 and kept his on-base streak going. He has reached base in all 20 Astros games so far this year.
You can see what Queto is trying to do with this guy. He is trying to jam him inside with a fastball. Jordan Schaefer holds his hands very low. He almost challenges you to try to throw that ball in there and try to open up the plate and get something on the outside corner.
Now you kind of wondered, Chris, if he would be in there today. Remember, he made that great catch against the wall on Roland's ball last night, was out there holding his ribcage.
Yeah.
Gets this one in the air to right. Bruce has it measured, and Jay makes the catch, and that's the way this game gets started. How about the Reds defensively behind Johnny Cueto this afternoon? Brought to you by your Ford dealers. Heisey, Stubbs, and Bruce across the outfield. Roland, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto the infield. The battery this afternoon of Hannigan catching Johnny Cueto. Chris Heisey getting the start out in left field this afternoon. Ryan Ludwig has been the starter primarily out there this year, but Heisey in left here this afternoon. That ball yanked foul by one of the 2 guys you were talking about in the open, Jose Altuve. Just a youngster and only 5'5". Second in the league in hitting. The start of this game at 378 with a homer and 10 RBIs. And in a multi-hit game last night, a double and a triple and a couple of runs batted in.
Well, last year when he made the scene as a major leaguer, he was swinging at just about everything that would come up there. But remember, at 5 feet 5 inches tall, he has naturally one of the smallest strike zones in all the major leagues. So what they're trying to tell Jose Altuve is, hey, with a strike zone as small as yours, why don't you take more pitches? Make the pitchers throw the ball in there for you. And it has really worked for him so far. Not quite a guy that's very patient up there, but still much more patient than he was last year.
He gives Bruce another opportunity here in the first. Jay caught the ball off the bat of Schaefer, and he does the same here off the bat of Altuve. So there are quickly 2 men out. Johnny Cueto 2-0, as Chris mentioned, but the team is 3-1 in the 4 starts that he has made. And we mentioned earlier that while he does not have a good record against the Astros overall, 1-5 in 10 starts with an ERA of 4.01. He has had 5 consecutive quality starts dating back to April of 2009 against this team.
Right, but look at the numbers right there. He did not pitch against them last year, so you can almost throw those numbers out saying, hey, when Johnny Cueto is 23, 22 years old, some of those numbers, you know, as a rookie and a second-year player, don't mean nearly as much as what they did last year when he was 25, and this year, now that he's 26, he gets a shot at him.
He gets ahead quickly here to Jed Lowry, no balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, believe me, if you're going to pitch against a team that loses 106 games, there's a fight out there in the bullpen to see who gets the ball that day. But this is an improved team, this Astro team. They're younger, they're scrappier. You know, it's early in the year where they still believe in themselves. I mean, a long season can wear down a team like the Astros, where they don't have a lot of depth. I mean, they're already thin to begin with. They lose Carlos Lee last night. They've lost a couple of their good pitchers. They've got 3 guys that they've claimed on waivers or Rule 5 draftees.
Shot to right will fall in front of Bruce, and so a 2-out single for Lowry.
But what it is, it's a team where these young players realize that they're auditioning for big league jobs. When Jim Crane and the rest of the new Astros ownership decides to do what they were going to do with this ball club in the next years to come, those guys that are on the club right now can be grandfathered in, but only if they have good seasons, only if they show this new ownership that they're worth keeping around. Wandy Rodriguez, obviously one of those guys, unless they decide to trade him.
What a great job he did last night. 6 innings, 6 runs, 6 hits rather, 2 runs for the 33-year-old lefty. Batter now is J.D. Martinez. He's their left fielder. Average .310, 3 home runs, and he's tied for 3rd in the National League in RBIs with 19. Only 24 years old, so he's one of these youngsters that Chris is talking about. Altuve is 21. Castro, the catcher, last night, 24. Jordan Schaefer, their center fielder, only 25. Here's Castro. Cueto trying to get the final out here in the first. J.D. Martinez last night 1 for 4, an RBI single back in the 3rd. Reached base in 18 of the 19 games in which he has played this year for Houston. From 3-0 to 3-2, so the runner from first will be on the move.
That's an awfully nasty 3-1 pitch right there. Martinez looking fastball. 3-1 is a fastball count. Johnny Cueto trips him up with that really good looking breaking ball right on the corner.
There goes Lowry, and that is ball 4, and so Martinez is aboard. First 2 retired, next 2 reach, and the batter will be Travis Buck. Rarity really from Queto, isn't it, a walk?
Yeah, he's only walked 6 in 25 innings coming into this ball game, so he's been very stingy in that department. But he's also a guy that knows, and you know the lineup, and Ryan Hannigan knows the lineup. There are certain guys that you simply are not going to give into. Now, there aren't as many in this Houston lineup as there may be on other teams. However, you know, J.D. Martinez, when you're batting the number 4 spot, that's not a guy that you want to pipe a 3-2 fastball just because you want to throw a strike right there.
Buck, the left-handed hitter, slices it down the left field line, but a foul ball. Martinez, Buck, 7 out of 21 at the plate this year, and all of his at-bats have come against right-handed pitching. He's been used primarily by Brad Mills as a pinch hitter this year and been pretty successful at it. Getting the start today out in right, replacing Brian Bogusevic, and now he is clipped barely, but clipped by that pitch, and so Buck joins Lowry and Martinez on the bases, and the Astros have them loaded.
Well, that's one of those pitches where you want to come inside, you throw the ball just about exactly where you want it. Watch how he turns. He almost turns into it, but the last second it just clips the cloth of his sleeve right there. I mean, did not get him at all, really. He just kind of got the material, but that counts. You could hear that as it brushed by, and Tim McClellan will give him the base.
This Houston club has been very good. In fact, they have the best average with runners in scoring position in the National League this year, coming to the game at .302. Matt Downs has the opportunity here to try to put the Astros in front early in this game. Bases loaded, 2 out. He took over at first base last night for Carlos Lee in the first inning when Lee sprained his left ankle. They did do x-rays on Lee's ankle, and while the x-rays were negative, he is listed as day-to-day in terms of when he may get back in there. No stint right now for him on the DL. All on a strike to Downs.
So Downs has had his chance a couple of times, some cups of coffee with the San Francisco Giants. But he's a guy that has some power, and in this ballpark, everybody has power. He kind of flies open a little bit with his left shoulder. If you leave a ball middle in, this guy can punish it. And that's why Queto's trying to get that ball down and away. That's what you were talking about, Jim. Batting average with runners in scoring position.
In the air to right, and Bruce is going to get 3 putouts in the inning, and indeed he does. And Cueto leaves the bases loaded in the first against the Houston Astros. Trying to get even in this 3-game series against the Houston Astros. Part of the big offense for this Reds team is this man, Jay Bruce. A couple of homers in the last 2 games. 2-run shot in the 6th inning against Ryan Vogelsong on Thursday. And then last night, one of the 2 9th inning home runs. That one came against Fernando Abad. And here's Dusty's lineup today. Stubbs, Cozart, Votto, followed by Phillips, Bruce, and Rowland. There's Heisey in the 7th spot. Hannigan catching Queto. Queto batting 9th and doing the pitching.
Lucas Harrell, right-hander, came up through the Chicago White Sox organization. 4th-round draft pick for them in 2004 out of a high school in the Ozarks in Missouri. He's a character. They'll tell you that he's a fun guy to watch pitch. He'll talk to himself out there. He'll scold himself for making bad pitches. Overall, he's got a fastball that runs about 92 miles an hour. Got a cutter, a curveball, a changeup.
Stubbs down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, when you look at the sheet of Reds players against Harrell, you find 3 at-bats. 1 by Bruce, a hit. 1 at-bat by Phillips and 1 by Votto, and that is it. Toward the middle by Stubbs, but cut off by Lowry. Stubbs makes it close, but he is out at first, and that is out number 1. Defensive look now at the Astros, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Across the outfield, they have J.D. Martinez in left, then Schaefer in center, then Buck out in right field. Infield today, Johnson, Lowry, Altuve, and Downs. Same as you saw most of the game last night after the injury to Lee. Battery of Harrell, and catching in this game is Chris Snyder. Cozart and a chance for Lowry, and there are 2 out.
So far, each of these pitchers have only needed 1 position player out there. Johnny Cueto only needs Jay Bruce at right, and so far, Jed Lowry at shortstop is the only guy that Lucas Harrell has needed.
So 2 out, no one on. The batter, Joey Votto. By the way, in case you were tuned in before our Reds Live pregame came on, and we're watching college softball, Texas and Texas A&M. Wondering about that final score. The Longhorns prevailed 7-6 over Texas A&M college softball, just to kind of put a closure on that. Joey Votto leads the National League in walks. He currently has 19, including 1 last night. Also had an RBI double in the 6th inning in the first game of this series. Comes in at 275, a homer, 11 batted in.
Well, a lot of run on that fastball by Lucas Harrell. You know, there's no question why he likes to use that fastball. He throws it about 66% of the time, and that's a high number percentage-wise, and nowadays for major league pitchers. He doesn't really throw a slider. He'll cut that fastball, and he'll throw a curveball and a changeup as well. But for the most part, he's fastball cutter.
He's a ground ball guy.
Yeah, he is, and you can see why. A lot of movement.
Full count to Votto. Harrell's last start 5 days ago at Milwaukee resulted in a 6-5 Astros loss. He suffered the loss in that game, gave up 5 runs, 5 hits in 5 innings. That's a fair ball inside the line by Joey Votto. And let's see if he's going to get extra bases. He turns and heads to second as the left fielder Martinez gets that ball back in. That's the 9th double of the year for Joey Votto. The Reds have an opportunity here in the first.
Boy, Joey waits and waits and waits, and he lets that ball travel deeper on him than just about any major leaguer out there. You could see the point of impact when that ball hit back. I mean, that ball was just about in the catcher's glove. That's why he's able to rifle it right down the left field line.
Votto is safe at second, safe and secure.
New York life.
That 9th double by Votto now ties him with Yadier Molina of the Cardinals for the National League lead in 2 base hits. Let's see if Brandon Phillips can get him home. 1 for 3 plus a walk in the game last night for Brandon. Comes in at 255, couple of homers, 6 runs batted in. Shot to center by Phillips, and Schaefer is going to have it go off the tip of his glove and go to the wall. Votto scores easily. Phillips on his way to third, and he is in there with a pop-up slide. That'll be a 3-base hit for Brandon Phillips, and the Reds take advantage of their first inning opportunity and take a 1-0 lead.
Boy, that ball sounded like somebody stacking timber when he hit that ball, and just for a moment Jordan Schaefer came in, froze, and then realized, uh-oh, that ball is hit a whole lot better than I thought it was, and it goes over his head off the tip of his glove. And I would say that Brandon Phillips' legs are feeling just fine.
You know, you wonder, though, don't you, when he rounded second and turned toward third, like, oh, boy, let's hope nothing happens right here. He gets his first triple of the year, gets RBI number 7. The Reds jump in front 1-0 here in the first. 2 triples for Phillips last year. He gets his first of this season here this afternoon. Here's Bruce. Saw his home runs in the last 2 games. The 2-run shot bottom of the 6th Thursday against Ryan Vogelsong, and then the first of the back-to-back last night against the lefty Fernando Abad. Gave the Reds a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. They ultimately lost 6-4. Bruce first, and then Mesoraco last night. Jay up to 280. 5 homers, a dozen batted in. Outfield plays Jay to pull. And he takes ball 4. On both sides of the ledger, the first 2 were retired. Queto allowed the next 3 to reach, but stranded the bases loaded. Harrell has allowed the next 3 to reach, but has given up a run. Here's Roland. Well, you have to be, despite that 182 average, encouraged by what we've been seeing lately, haven't you?
He's hitting the ball much better. Couple of home runs in the last few days. Hit it hard last night.
Well, he really did. 0 for 4 last night, but twice scalded the ball, only to have hits taken away by Jordan Schaefer out in center. Sitting on 7 runs batted in. Rolls it through the right side and a base hit for Roland. Phillips will score, and it's 2-0 Reds. Well, that's the game of baseball right there.
You know, it's almost like Scott Rowland went to the plate and he saw that right side of the infield open. He said, you know what, I'm going to try to keep my hands inside the ball and hit one over there. Now, it's certainly not as easily done as just saying that, but, you know, you practice that in batting practice. You really do. Guys are always trying to hit the ball the other way. They're trying to hit certain gaps and certain openings in the defense, and he was able to get one through there.
Well, he hits the ball, what, 750 feet last night, gets nothing out of it, hits one here 120 feet and gets himself a hit and a run batted in.
That's baseball for you.
So a 2-0 Reds lead here in the first. Foul ball to third. You know, when you take a look at the numbers of Harrell, you break them down a little bit. His worst inning in terms of ERA is the first with an 11+.
There are a lot of starting pitchers like that. You come out of the bullpen, sometimes you have great stuff down the bullpen. It doesn't translate to the mound. Sometimes you get out of the bullpen, your catcher tells you, geez, you better get the ball down today because you've got nothing. But until you get your feet wet and your rhythm going in that first inning, you really sometimes never get a chance to throw up a good game.
Red try to add to a 2-0 lead in the first on that fly ball by Heisey, but it's going to be handled and left by Martinez. And so the first inning for the Reds comes to a close, but it is successful. They put a pair up on the board. By Elk and Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And what about these bullpen bullets, Chris Welsh?
Well, they are some bullets right there. Very tiny bullets that Aroldis Chapman's been throwing, but the bullpen has been so good. Chapman, Ondrusek, Arredondo, these are just 3 of those guys that have just posted great outing after outing after outing. And one reason why Dusty Bakersfield is real confident about when he makes that call down the bullpen and tells Porky Lopez to get one of those guys up.
5 1/3 innings of shutout relief in last night's game, and 2 names that you did not see on that list were Alfredo Simon, who went an inning and a third, and J.J. Hoover, who went 2. Sam LeCure then worked the 9th inning last night. 2-0 Reds. They have a 5-0 mark this year when they've led after the first inning, so let's hope that translates to victory number 10 on the season here this afternoon. Chris Johnson, third baseman. Last 4 games, 6 out of his last 15. One hit and an RBI double in last night's contest.
You know, Johnson's a guy that has struck out an awful lot. I think we showed you the numbers last night, something like 27 strikeouts, only 1 walk. But he's a guy, if you watch him at the plate, you can explain why. Watch the barrel of his bat. When he starts the first movement to get ready, that barrel will start pointing towards the hitter. And it increases, well, he gets that one fair, but it increases the length of the arc that he's got to get that bat around.
Which is, I guess, something ideally that you don't want to do.
Well, you always hear scouts talking about this particular batter is short to the ball. And on that time, he didn't do it as badly as he did last night and in previous at-bats. But the more that barrel of the bat travels towards the pitcher, and then you start to swing, it creates a longer arc, and it takes longer for that barrel to get into the hitting zone. He got in there pretty quickly that time. They've been working with him very much to try to get him to shorten it up. A couple of doubles in 2 nights.
That one today is 5th. Now the tying run coming to the plate here for the Astros in the second with catcher Chris Snyder. Astros signed Snyder as a free agent in the offseason. We saw him with Pittsburgh last year, originally with Arizona. He's at 1 ball and 1 strike. He missed, Snyder, most of last year. A back injury forced him to sit out all but 34 games. Nothing after the early days of June. So the 2 catchers they have on their roster this year right now, Jason Castro, who caught last night, Chris Snyder catching today, both missed most of last year. Picks off the edge of the grass and throws in time to first, and Snyder is the first out here in the second. Well, it's really turned out to be not a bad afternoon at all. This morning in this Cincinnati area, the weather was terrible. It was pounding rain when we got here at about 12:30, and
had a nice crowd too.
Yeah,
I really thought, and I think a lot of the Reds people thought, that those that had bought tickets ahead of time, some would not show up because the weather would have scared them off, and then the walk-ups may not show. But had a nice crowd here at the ballpark here this afternoon.
And there's only one other visit by the Astros to Cincinnati this year, and that'll be in September, the 7th through the 9th of September. Got up this morning, you're driving to the ballpark, you think, well, if it doesn't clear up and they may have to rain this thing out, the only other time you'd have to make it up is in September. But things have turned out pretty well.
I think you may have been the only guy who was thinking that on the way to work today. Well, maybe not the only guy. I'm sure Declan Mullen was one, maybe Phil Castellini another, and Jim Kelch.
I think Marty was thinking about it. You, of course, were worried about your golf game.
No. I was down watching some JV baseball down in Lexington where it was sunny and 70. Go figure that.
Yeah. Harrell stays up there against Queto with a ball and 2 strikes. He's 2 out of 7 this year with a couple of strikeouts as a hitter, 2 for 10 in his career. As mentioned earlier, claimed by the Astros off waivers from the White Sox just before the All-Star break last year. Came up to the White Sox organization. 10-game winner at Charlotte a few years ago, their AAA team. Two and two.
Harold kind of took a check swing right there, and they looked back at Tim McClellan to say, did I go or didn't I? I'm not sure.
Only with a pitcher, right?
Oh, yeah.
Umpires today, Ted Barrett's at first, Brian Runge's at second, Marvin Hudson at third, and our main man, Tim McClellan, the crew chief, behind home plate. What do you know about it?
Well, 28.5 years as a Major League umpire. Tim McClellan from Michigan. He now resides in Iowa and went to Michigan State. 3 All-Star games, 4 World Series, and his number is 61.88.
So it's a little bit lower than we've seen the last couple of games.
A little bit lower.
He has a delayed strike call.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you recognize immediately about McClellan. That and the fact he's about 6'6".
Otto with a nice pick and feed to Johnny Cueto. Boy, that's a tough play right there. That ball was kind of hit right in no man's land, wasn't it?
Well, you know, that's one of those things where Brad Mills, the Houston Astros manager, is sitting in there thinking, man, the little things, just the little things. If Chris Snyder, the number 8 hitter, is able to move the runner over from second to third, this ground ball would have scored the runner. And they to put a run on the board. Harrell would have picked up an RBI. As it turns out, a harmless ground ball. He does move the runner up to third, but Queto still is perfect as far as runs given up.
Good combination on that play of Votto and Cueto means Johnny gets Schaefer here with a runner at third, 2 men out. Schaefer flied to right to start this game. Good on base percentage, but this guy is prone to the strikeout. In fact, he leads the National League the start of today with 29 strikeouts at the top of the order. New baseball requested by the right-hander Johnny Cueto. Facing Jordan Schaefer, who came over to the Astros in the Michael Bourne deal at the end of last year, trying to bunt his way on, but Queto and Votto combined to retire Schaefer. He's 0 for 2 in the game, and Johnny blanks him in the second. They leave a runner and are stranded 4 so far. Time play of the game later on, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ryan Hanigan leads things off here in the bottom of the second. 2-0 Reds against this right-hander, Lucas Harrell. Hanigan did not play in last night's game. Mesoraco played, hit the home run, was 1 for 4. Hanigan comes in, having hit 6 in a row. 8 of the 11 games in which he has started, swinging a pretty good bat here as of late.
Well, it seems like Ryan Hanigan plays every time Bronson Arroyo pitches. We know that, and that's happened like that for several years. And now he's caught Johnny Cueto just about exclusively as well.
Late cut, and Harrell will have to take it himself as Downs came way off the bag. It's a 1 unassisted put out, 1 out. Hey, ladies, make sure you're here at Great American Ballpark on Friday, May the 11th for Girls Night Out, presented by Biz and Oxidol. Arrive early and be one of the first 10,000 ladies through the gates and receive a Reds tote bag. Then cheer on the Reds when they take on those Washington Nationals. And then stick around after the game for a post-game fireworks show featuring a Girls Night Out soundtrack. For information, tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. Here's Queto. Johnny leads the National League in sacrifice bunts with 5. He won't have an opportunity to do that here. Has a hit and 6 ABs. And Altuve throws him out for 3. So as he did in the first, Lucas Harrell gets the first 2 here in the second. We'll deal now with Drew Stubbs.
Yeah, he looked like a little different pitcher when you get him out of the stretch position. That opposite field double down the left field line by Joey Votto put him at second base, so then he went to the stretch. Promptly gave up a hard hit triple by Brandon Phillips, walked the batter, gave up a little squibber base hit by Roland, but get him in a little bit of a groove, he'll just run that fastball right in on your hands every time.
That's exactly what he did there to Stubbs. Broke the Reds center fielder's bat and retires the Reds in order here in the second. Ready to work here in inning number 3. He gets 2, 3, 4, which means Jose Altuve, Jed Lowry, J.D. Martinez in Brad Mills' batting order.
You know, you look at the hitting chart for Jose Altuve, where he used to swing at the ball, and anything up in the strike zone, anything on the inner part of the plate, I mean, he's swinging almost every time. He's cut that down a little bit this year. I mean, there was a time when you could hardly ever get him even to take a pitch. But when you've got a small strike zone, you might as well take advantage of it, right?
From a pitcher's standpoint, what was it like to throw to a guy who's 5'5"? Did you have to adjust what you were doing?
You're trying to get him out of the picture. That's what you tell all pitchers anyway, is you try to eliminate the hitter if you possibly can and just throw to the catcher's mitt. Now, if you're one of those pitchers that has bad control problems, then that's a really major problem. But right there, no problem at all for Johnny Cueto.
Johnny gets his first strikeout. It's Altuve looking to start the top of the third, and that is right at knee level. Altuve tried to kneel a little bit below that, didn't he?
That's one area where our Fox Tracks doesn't make the adjustment for a hitter who may be 6 feet 6 inches tall compared to a hitter that's 5 feet 5. That ball looked like it was on Altuve's knees, but our Fox Track showed it to be about belt high.
So 1 out. Here's Jed Lowry. Single into right his first time. He's hitting .264 overall, but only .185 as a switch hitter from this side of the plate. And now he's quickly down 2 strikes. Lowry started the year on the disabled list, had a sprained right thumb, missed the first 6 games. He was Mr. Versatility for the Red Sox last year, playing all 4 infield positions, mostly at third and short, but he could play second, he could play first.
Well, I mentioned it during his first at bat. What the scouting report says, and what Johnny Cueto and Ryan Hanigan are trying to get done, is get that ball right in on his hands. He likes to extend his hands, hit the ball the other way if possible, slap it the other way. Cueto just trying to get it right in on the knuckles. Now he's going outside with it. Well, I'll tell you, they got their TVs turned on, their satellite dishes all tuned in to Fox Sports Ohio, right down there in San Pedro de Macorís. All of Johnny Cueto's friends and families they don't miss a game.
Watching JC today.
You better believe it.
Looking for his 3rd win. Battling here against Lowry.
And we wish all of you down there a big hello and welcome. Thanks for watching.
Lowry puts good wood on this ball, sending Stubbs to the track, and he's there to haul it in. Long ride there on that one by Lowry, but 2 out. Batter will be J.D. Martinez. Well, tonight's Ohio Lottery Powerball jackpot is worth $40 million. That's 4-0. $40 million. Drawing is at 11 p.m. tonight. Don't miss out. 2 out, no one on. Queto looks to get Martinez for a perfect inning. Walked him his first time, meaning Martinez has now reached base in 19 of 20 Astros games.
I'm sure he's about it because
Martinez has 3 home runs. He's a native of Miami, and he hit the first home run at the new ballpark down in Miami this year, Marlins Park. Second game played down there. It came off Edward Mujica back on the 13th of April. It had to be a big, big thrill for him. From 3-0 now to 3-2. Broken bat to third. And Roland will handle it. There's that perfect throw again over to Votto at first. There's a perfect third for Johnny Cueto. Reds in front 2-0. The third day of the NFL draft is upon us, and we'll have full coverage of that draft for the Bengals and the Browns. Plus, Sam Amico wraps up the Cavaliers season and looks ahead to the NBA playoffs, which begin today. Get it all at FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Cozart leads it off here in the bottom of the third. Cozart, Votto, Phillips. Base hit. Cozart aboard with a fourth Reds hit. Zach had been struggling a little bit, just one for his last 12 coming into this game, and it grounded out his first time.
Well, when you're a sinker ball pitcher like Lucas Harrell and you get that ball up above the waist, it'll still move, but only goes side to side. It doesn't sink. Doesn't induce the ground ball, and the swing by Zach Cozart got that ball up in the zone, just puts a nice swing on it. Look where that is. It's right here, right along the belt line, and that's certainly not a place where you throw a sinky fastball. So Cozart takes advantage of a hanger right there.
Leadoff man off for the first time for Cincinnati in 3 innings.
Some people may laugh, say, what do you mean you hang a fastball? But when you're a sinker ball pitcher like Harrell and you get the ball up around the waist, that is the equivalent of a hanging slider, but you do it with a fastball.
Votto waited that last time up. First time this afternoon, and doubled inside the bag at third into the left field corner. Later scored in the triple by Phillips. He bats with Cozart aboard. Line drive off the glove of Altuve, and that's going to allow Cozart to reach second. Had Altuve caught that ball, he almost assuredly had a double play.
Well, had he caught the ball, but he was thinking double play before he had the ball in his glove. In fact, he was probably reaching back there. In one eye, he had Cozart leaning off first base, and the other eye, he was looking the ball into the glove. But the lesson is catch the ball first, then make the play. He was already beginning to kind of flip that glove around, transfer. They had a little bit of movement at the very end, and he gets tagged with the error. And instead of having at least one, maybe 2 outs, now he's got Lucas Harrell in a peck of trouble.
Astros made 1 error last night. They commit their first of this game, and it gives the Reds a great opportunity now to expand on this 2-0 lead with Phillips at the plate. 2 on, no one out. He absolutely crushed that ball his first time. What'd you say it sounded like?
Stacking timber.
There you go.
You ever done that?
Oh, yeah. Another blast to center field. Schaefer will play this one. Cozart will tag and move to third. First and third with one out. Hey, Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Vinny Terranova from Cincinnati will win in this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win in an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Where is that truck? It is right above the Reds bullpen out in left center field. Here's Bruce with a runner going, and no throw, and a stolen base for Votto. His first.
I'll tell you, Votto is not the fastest guy on the team, but you almost have to tab him the best base runner out there. Sometimes he takes some chances out there and he gets picked, but for the most part, he's always the guy that goes from first to third. He recognizes where the outfielders are playing. He knows who's got a good move and so on, and he picked the perfect spot right there. First pitch to go on.
Only the 8th steal by the Reds this year. Bruce shoots one the other way, down the line and into the corner, and a fair ball. Fair ball, says Marvin Hudson. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Cozart and Votto touch the dish. 2-run double for Jay Bruce, giving him 14 runs batted in on the year. And the Reds have doubled up the Astros now, and it's 4-0.
I'm not sure how Jay Bruce kept that ball fair. It looked like when it came off the bat, it was just going to keep slicing. You see the trajectory when it comes off the bat, almost straight up in the air. But right on that foul line, which makes it a fair ball.
Ironically enough. Quick visit to the mound by Doug Brocail, the pitching coach of this Astros bunch. Jay Bruce came into this game 5 for his last 8. He's now 6 for his last 9, and a home run his last time up last night. Walked in the first today. Now a 2-run double, his 5th 2-base hit. Chance for more with Roland up there. Scott rolled one through the right side his first time, an RBI single. Driving in his 8th. Bruce now sitting at 14 runs batted in after that 2-run double. How about him going the other way? Roland tries the right side again. Handled by Downs. Scott is gone. 2 out. Bruce moves up.
Well, they've been trying to do that with Jay Bruce, because when Jay Bruce, like just about every other hitter, gets into a slump, the first thing that goes is your front shoulder. You start pulling off the ball, and then pitchers begin to pitch you away. You never get to the ball. You roll over on it, and you're an easy out. But when he's hitting the ball right, he's staying back and using his hands and not flying open with that shoulder, you can use the entire field. I also wonder, Jim, and I said it tongue-in-cheek yesterday, but you really do wonder. I mean, you look back on last year for Jay Bruce. I mean, the month of May that he had was just a monstrous month by anybody's comparison. And here we are in the closing days of April. You wonder if Jay Bruce is heating up for another hot month of May.
Last May, a whopping .342 with a dozen homers, 33 RBIs in 28 games. Garnered him the National League's Player of the Month award. Followed that up with a .217 June with only 7 RBIs. Heisey flied to left his first time. Reds have scored twice here in the 3rd to equal their output in the 1st. An error by Altuve on the line drive. Off the bat of Votto has cost the Astros at least 1 run. Sliced to right, but caught on the move out there by Buck. So Heisey is 0 for 2, and the inning comes to an end. But the Reds add 2 more and now lead 4-0. The 11th of May here at GABP. It's ladies and girls night out. Be one of the first 10,000 through the gates. Get a Reds tote bag, and then after the game, a fireworks show featuring a girls night out soundtrack presented by Furniture Fair. For tickets, 513-381-REDS, or visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com today. Johnny Queto to the mound. He leads now 4-0 as he works to Travis Buck here in the top of the 4th. Broken bat, ball to center. Stubbs slides for it, can't get it, and Buck is aboard. Base hit for Travis Buck, who was hit by a pitch his first time.
Well, you could hear the bat shatter when that ball hit the bat, and you know, you hear that as a center fielder too, and that's why Drew Stubbs, when he started getting that head of steam, he came in and he says, I'm going to take a shot at this, because even if the ball gets by him, as it does, it's not going to go very far. Just kind of a dying quail of a shot right there, and sometimes you hit it easy and it falls in.
Here's Matt Downs getting the start at first base today in place of Carlos Lee. Slide to right to end the first, his first time. 0 for 4 in the game last night after taking over for Lee. Turned his ankle. Another ball sliced to right. Bruce will have that fall in front for a hit.
Astros got their 60-degree wedges out this inning.
And Buck and Downs have taken advantage of them.
This one gets in on the trademark right there. Running fastball gets in on the hands, and you know, you want to play shallow at this ballpark anyway, because just about anything that's over your head is either off the wall or out of here. But you can't play that shallow, and eventually, or occasionally, those little quirks will fall in.
There's Chris Johnson. Double to left his first time. Here in the 4th inning, this next pitch by Queto will be his 70th of the game. So we've seen him more pitch efficient than we've seen him today.
Well, yeah, well, the Astros really worked him there in the first inning. After the first couple of outs, he had a long inning from there. He pitched a few more pitches than he wanted to in the second inning. Quick inning last inning, and he's looking for his first out here in the 4th.
Broken bat single to center by Buck. Flare into right by Downs. What do you call it? A 60-degree?
60-degree wedge. As an old caddy down at the honors course, you ought to remember that.
I should have, but that's been a few years ago. Let's see what they can get. There's one, there's two. Double play.
What a great turn by Brandon Phillips. Boy, he got that ball, and it looked like all it did was change direction. Quick hands, good feet by Cozart, and that's what the doctor ordered there. You get a couple of guys on, nobody out, and quickly a 6-4-3 twin killing, and you've got 2 down and just a man on third now.
Brandon did that, what looked like a little push off from the base to give himself a little room.
Well, and also give him protection. You know, there are several ways, and Brandon went through this with us about a year or so ago on Tech Talk, the different ways you make a turn as a second baseman. And one of those is that you back off towards left field and you use the second base bag as protection. So that if that runner wants to get to you, he's got to slide all the way across the bag, and that way he really can't get to you, even though he tries to raise his foot up right there. No effect on the throw at all.
All-star Brandon Phillips trying to help Cueto get through here the 4th inning. Now Johnny's fallen behind 3-0. Boy, he'd love to get Snyder here to have the pitcher lead off in the 5th. Reds trying to get back to within a game of the 500 mark. 10 and 11 entering action today. That mark for the Reds, the 9 and 11 entering action today, has them tied with Milwaukee for 2nd in the division. To Roland. Inning over. Another 0 on the board for Queto. Johnny has allowed but 4 hits in the game and leads 4-0. Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile, and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Great American Ballpark, the venue for this afternoon's game. As you can see, a very good Saturday afternoon crowd on hand, despite the weather. A little bit cool, but they've turned out en masse for today's game, and so far they've been rewarded.
Do you find it strange that there was warmer weather in the month of February, though here we are getting towards the end of April?
Odd indeed. No question about it. Hannigan leads off. Reds' 4th crack at this right-hander, Lucas Harrell, 6'2", 210. Toward the middle, and a base hit for Ryan Hannigan, and the leadoff man is aboard. Reds have some special guests in the ballpark here today, all the way from China. They work for Petro China, are in the area training at GE in Evendale, and are here enjoying an afternoon of Reds baseball all the way from China. Good to have you here at the ballpark. Queto bounced out his first time. Mentioned earlier, he leads the National League in sacks with 5. Showing bunt, laying down a beauty, and that's going to get him number 6. The play goes 3-4 with Downs fielding and giving it to Altuve. Remember, after every Reds game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks it down with interviews from players, thoughts from the skipper, Dusty Baker. That's Reds Postgame Live, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
It's amazing. Johnny Cueto last year had 7 sacrifice bunts all year long. And here we are, not even out of the month of April. He has 6 of them.
Amazing.
I mean, his high for his career is 10 in one season. I think that happened a couple of years ago, maybe in 2009, but he's becoming more and more of a complete pitcher. Fields his position way better than he ever did before. You help yourself with little things like that. You hang around late in the ball game and you get more W's.
Certainly you have to be in those situations, but it's clear that he has become a much better handler of the bat than he had been in the past.
Well, it's repetition. I mean, when Johnny Cueto was a young man, he was an outfielder. I mean, he was a teenager. They looked at his arm and they said, you know what? I think we're going to make you a pitcher. And he didn't fight the move, obviously. He was 16 or 17 when the Reds ended up signing him down in the Dominican Republic. Worked his way through the minor leagues, and even though you work at it, I mean, until you get there in game conditions and start laying bunts down and do things in real time, not in practice time, that's when you begin to get good at it.
Stubbs is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and popped up, both to the shortstop. Brings a 5-game hitting streak into this one. He had a 6-gamer earlier this year, so he's trying to equal that. To the right side, Altuve on the outfield grass will make the play. Stubbs is gone, and he's 0 for 3. Now Kozar, with a runner at third and 2 men out, has the RBI opportunity. He is flied out to right, flied out to left. Cozart tips it foul. Cozart has grounded out and singled, scored a run. 9th game for Zach in the number 1 spot in the batting order. He came in at 171 in terms of a batting average as the Reds leadoff man. Now Zach will get a look at a 3-2 pitch with a runner at third, 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Puts a charge in it to center, but Schaefer is there, and the inning is over. The Reds leave one, have stranded 4 through 4 on top, 4-0.
Take it down on the farm. Prospect Billy Hamilton, those up the road in Dayton know all about this guy. 100 stolen bases for Dayton last year. Now he's in high A ball in Bakersfield, and his numbers, well, they're incredible. He continues to steal bases as Johnny Cueto goes to work here. In the last 2 games, he stole 7 bases, guys. Over 21 games, he has 26 steals in those games. Now, the impressive thing is his batting average in 21 games. He's got a .395 average. 26 steals, as I said, scored 23 runs, drove in 10 runs, 13 walks, and a .479 on base percentage. So I think your St. X math, Chris Welsh, would say that he's on pace to have more than 162 steals. We don't think that's going to happen, but he's on quite the pace right now.
Those are kind of off the charts numbers, you say, Jim. You know, but the problem, Jim Kelch, is that, not problem, I mean, maybe when you have too many of a good thing, it's not a problem. It's something that you like to deal with, but you've got a guy ahead of him, Didi Gregorius, who's having a tremendous year at AA. You have Paul Janisch at AAA, who's having a very good year. He's batting over .320 for the Louisville Bats right near. And at the major league level, you've got a very fine rookie shortstop in Zach Cozart. So, you know, what do you do with a young guy like Billy Hamilton when you've got 3 guys ahead of him that are kind of firmly entrenched?
Well, I think you answered that question last night. From their standpoint, you just have to go out there and play hard, because you never know who may be watching. You never know what's going to happen. And, boy, these guys are really getting the job done.
Well, you always deal from your strength, and maybe that's one reason why the Reds were able to go out and make a deal for a guy like Matt Latos, because they have top-notch prospects in their organization. And, you know, as long as you draft well, sign well, and develop well, you're always going to have prospects at the top of the food chain that are ready to go in the major leagues that if you can't use, other teams will. But I'll tell you, there are scouts talking about Billy Hamilton like he is ready to be moved up. Didi Gregorius, there was a great article about him just recently about how scouts are really taking attention of him and how good he is. You take a look at Devin Mesoraco right there. It wasn't too long ago that Johnny Queto was in that mix, that he was a young guy on his way up. The scouts were saying he's can't miss. He'll be a bona fide major league stud pitcher for a long time.
And as an aside to that, that Bakersfield team managed by Ken Griffey Sr. won last night 7-0 over Modesto. They've now won 11 games in a row, and the best record of Reds minor league teams at 14-7. Big pitching performance last night also by Jeff Francis for Louisville. He went 8 innings, allowed 1 run on 3 hits with 9 strikeouts in a 2-1 Louisville win over Norfolk.
Well, you got to have some depth. And that means you have guys who are ready to move into the major league level. Obviously, Jeff Francis has been a bona fide major league pitcher for a long time. And he took the assignment to go down to Louisville to make sure he stays sharp. And, you know, the Reds used 10 starters last year, so it's unlikely that they'll be able to keep the same 5 guys all year long. And I imagine at some point or another we will probably see Jeff Francis up here.
Hard hit, and that one deflects off the glove of Cozart, and Schaefer is aboard with a base hit here in inning number 5. Just looking here, Francis is 2-2 with a 3.30 ERA through 5 starts. Brett Tomko through 4 starts 0-3, but with a 3.48, so a couple of veterans doing pretty well. Schaefer gets himself the hit, so he's 1 for 3. He's on with 1 out. Schaefer's now reached base in 21 straight games to start the season for this Astros team, closing in on the all-time mark of 25, held by former Red Dennis Menke back in 1969 when he played for the Astros. Ricky Gutierrez in 1998 reached in the first 23. Schaefer now at 21.
You know, I'm not so sure I've ever seen this before, but Jose Altuve, for the second time, you know, a lot of guys have different administrations that they go through, mannerisms. He undoes his batting gloves and blows inside each batting glove in between pitches. Let's check him out. Here we go. 2 of them there. Well, how about the right? Yep. Okay. Maybe he's pumping them up like a certain PSI.
It's Mike Hargrove almost, doesn't it? Rain delay, human rain delay.
The human rain delay right here was Sean Casey for a long time.
Yeah. Schaefer moving as Altuve hits that softly to right. Bruce will show off the arm. Got him at first base. Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, was the man on top of that. He followed the runner down the line. Altuve, Bruce, Tavato, inning-ending double play here in the top of the 5th. Certainly worth another look. Looking around to see which umpire was going to make the call. They got what they wanted. This time Harrow retires Votto 1-3, and Here's another look at that double play ball that ended the 5th inning.
Well, Jay Bruce has got a very good arm, but accuracy is important right there. He one-hops Joey Votto. Look how low Votto gets down to make sure that he's able to field that. And he is ahead just of Jordan Schaefer, who's trying to get back in time. Johnny Queto likes it. He'll take a double play.
He's looking around, too. Who's going to make the call? And it's a crew chief, Tim McClellan. Johnny was looking for the call, trying to keep his hat on. 2 double plays turned behind him today through 5. A 4-0 Reds lead. Phillips with 1 out. He's hammered the ball to center twice. A triple and a ball that was caught, so he's 1 for 2. Reds have out-hit the Astros 6-5. Lead 4-0 here in the 5th. Another hard hit ball. Another hit for Phillips. He's 2 out of 3.
Brandon is seeing it big right now.
Parents, give your son or daughter a big league experience this summer with the official Reds baseball and softball camps presented by Safeco Insurance. All campers receive their own Reds uniform, special instruction from a Reds coach, on-field VIP experience here at GABP, plus a guest appearance by a current Reds star. For information on the official Reds camps, visit reds.com/camps today. Hit number 7 for the Reds. A second for Phillips puts him on with 1 out. Bruce, high fly ball, right field, bucks a spectator. Into the moon deck it goes. Home run for Jay Bruce. 3 home runs in 3 days, and now 6 for Bruce on the year.
Jumps all over. A high changeup right there, puts a good solid swing on it. The ball just jumps off his bat. If you stand around the batting cage and watch these guys take BP, you're just amazed with the ease that Jay Bruce swings the bat, how far the ball goes. And you put the sweet part on it, it will go a long way if you're as strong as Jay Bruce is.
He has 4 RBIs in the game, now 16 on the year. Chance here for Lowry, and he makes the play.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised that with Jay Bruce in the lineup last night against Wandy Rodriguez, he did not look good against Rodriguez. You know, he came in against him at like 1 for 26. He struck out twice, had a bloop hit to left field, but he probably concentrated just on seeing the ball. So now after seeing a very tough guy like Wandy Rodriguez, a left-hander whose breaking ball goes away from you, now you see a right-hander in there, and he's probably seeing the ball much bigger today with Harrell out there, a right-hander, the breaking ball coming into him, hanging like it did on that last pitch. Probably looked like more like a balloon than it did a fastball, or a baseball.
Toward the hole from the outfield grass, safe at first. Isaac can scoot it down the line, and he gets himself an infield hit right there. Boy, Bruce, 3 home runs in 3 days. Remember, Chris, he went through that, 0 for 19 spell earlier this year. He's really taken off.
Well, Jed Lowry shows a pretty good arm right here, but look where he picks that ball up, almost behind the third baseman in shallow left field. You're not going to throw too many runners out on that, but that was pretty close, even with Heisey speed.
Hannigan 1 for 2. He had a base hit his last time. Just to finish that thought about Bruce, remember he had the 0 for 19, a career-long streak earlier this year. Since then, hitting .441 in his last 37 at-bats, including home runs in each of his last 3 games. Now sitting at 6 home runs, 16 runs batted in. League leader in home runs, Matt Kemp, has 10. Andre Ethier of the Dodgers, 24 RBIs. Bruce, by the way, his career best, 5 runs batted in a game. He's accomplished it twice. Last late August of 2010 against the Cubs. 4 in this day. You see Hannigan going the other way. We've seen more of that with him this year, it appears, than we have in the past.
Well, he's always been a guy that tries to use that area up the middle. He makes contact on just about every pitch that comes inside the strike zone. Tough guy to strike out.
Johnson throws out Hannigan. That ends the bottom of the 5th. But the Reds get a pair on this 2-run homer by Jay Bruce. Now lead 6-0. Series will start at 1:10. That means Reds Live pregame will get things started 30 minutes before, beginning at 12:30. Presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing here on Fox Sports Ohio. Everything you need to know about Reds baseball only on your exclusive home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio. And remember, tomorrow then, down on the Reds Live set on the third base side, Sunglass Sundays. 100 lucky people will receive a free pair of sunglasses courtesy of Fox Sports Ohio and Ride Smart. I can't wait to see Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro wearing the sunglasses on Sunglass Sunday. 1:10 game tomorrow. Reds Live at 12:30. Matt Latos, after that stellar performance his last time out, goes for victory number 2 against a righty Jordan Lyles, just called up from AAA. Lowry leading it off. He's 1 for 2. Johnny Cueto now at 94 pitches. as he works here in the 6th inning. He's topped 100 pitches in each of his last 2 starts. Should get an out here. Rolling under this pop-up, and Lowry is gone. 1 for 3 in this game. 3 for 7 now in the series. 1 out. That will be J.D. Martinez. With Leake only going 3 2/3 last night, the bullpen had to work 5 1/3 innings. So, boy, Dusty Baker would love to see Johnny turn in a 7-inning outing here this afternoon.
Well, he's at 95 pitches, so you got to figure if he's efficient here and he gets through this inning reasonably well, he can at least go 1 more. I'm not so sure that Johnny Cueto really buys into the pitch count theory. All those young men, pitchers that come from, from foreign countries, Venezuela, the Dominican, Mexico, and so on, have never even heard of pitch counts when they're growing up. In fact, we never did in America either until just recently.
Cozart stabs it. Can he get him? He does at first base. Wow. What a play by Cozart to take a hit away from J.D. Martinez. Well, the Reds are playing some D behind Johnny today.
Well, the old saying is the more strikes you throw, the better your defense plays, and I don't know if it can get any better than that. Cozart, from the seat of his pants, got his man.
I mean to tell you, he's getting a standing ovation from a good crowd here on Saturday afternoon at GABP.
And that's why you come out to watch big league baseball. That's the kind of play that you don't see very often, if ever, in the minor leagues. You don't see it in college. You don't see it in high school. I mean, you see it more often up here than anywhere else, obviously. But that right there is worth the price of admission.
That ball was scorched off Martinez's bat. Just a quick reaction by Zach Cozart. He's been fun to watch for the first 3 weeks, hasn't he?
Tell you what, he's got great stage presence for a young man. You have to remind yourself that he's still just a rookie.
Queto now has an opportunity for a very pitch efficient inning right here. He's sitting right now at 9 in this inning.
Well, he's getting ahead of the hitters now, something he did not do the first few innings. He was always a 2-0 count, 3-1 count, running his pitch count up a little bit. But with a 6-run lead, there's no reason why he just shouldn't attack the strike zone.
Well, we're seeing a lot of fisted balls from these Astros hitters against Queto, aren't we?
Well, he's got that cut fastball that he tries to run in on those left-handers. He just doesn't try. He gets it in there on him. When you see him at 92, that's his regular fastball. When you see that ball anywhere from 86, 87, 88, that's that cutter that has a little bit of an effect that goes right in on the thumbs of a left-hander, a little bit away from a right-hander.
He got him there.
Changeup.
1-2-3 inning, his second of the afternoon. Nicely done in the 6th by Queto and company. Hey, did you? Here we go. Name the 2 players with the most career home runs without having an inside the park home run amongst them. 2 players with the most career homers without hitting an inside the park home run. Today's AT&T trivia question. One is currently an active player. You're thinking cap on tightly over there?
Well, I would say that he would have to have a lot of home runs.
Makes sense.
He might be an easier guy to guess than the retired player. Yeah, I think that Lucas Harrell was so impressed by Zach Cozart throwing a guy out from his bottom that he wanted to get down on his knees and see if he could make a similar play on that.
On the turf at GABP, retired
I'm not
Queto.
so sure he gets the same style points for his play that Cozart got for his, but worth a shot.
Not in the same league right there. Here's Stubbs. Going to keep that hitting streak alive, sitting at 5. Gets a hit here today, he'd have a chance then tomorrow to equal his career best. Back in 2010, he hit in 7 in a row. How about another hint in our trivia question? Other hit his first career home run 56 years ago today. One is a current player. The other hit his first career home run 56 years ago. You've deduced that the trivia questions have a tie-in.
They should.
Most of the time. Sometimes more than one. So mull it over. Stubbs a strikeout victim. That's the first of the day for Lucas Harrell. And with 2 out, here comes Zach Cozart. He should get a big hand right here. One for 3, lined out his last time, hit the ball hard to center. Back in what is his more familiar, and from Dusty Baker's standpoint, more comfortable number 2 spot in the lineup today, with Stubbs leading off. Lowry will throw out his counterpart. The Reds go in order in the bottom of the 6th for only the 2nd time this afternoon. fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at the World Series, presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Johnny Cueto back to work in inning number 7 so far this year. In his 4 starts, he's gone 7, 5, 7, and 6 1/3. So this is the 4th time he's entered the 7th inning in 5 starts this year. It's pretty impressive.
Well, he's been very stingy with the runs, too, and that's really the most important thing other than going deep into a ball game. The only game he's given up more than 1 earned run was against St. Louis. Went 5 innings, 3 runs, and didn't get either a quality start for that nor a win or a loss. But you look at the numbers, I mean, game by game for Johnny Cueto, he could easily be 3-0, maybe even 4-0 with a little bit of luck.
Well, the team is 3-1 in the 4 starts he has made, so you make a good point.
The Cardinals have won 14 games, and 8 of their wins are split between 2 pitchers, Lance Lynn and Kyle Loesch. Loesch won his 4th today.
Yeah, they had that big 8-run inning last night en route to a Game 1 win over Milwaukee. They win today behind Loesch 7-3. The Reds can win today as Logan Ondrusek starts to throw in the Reds bullpen. Break a 2nd place tie with Milwaukee. Be back within a game of the 500 mark. 4 games behind St. Louis. Game here tomorrow to wrap up this series, then an open date on Monday, and then a return visit from the Chicago Cubs. Cubbies here for 3 beginning Tuesday. We're going to get to see in that series, Chris, as a starter, somebody we did not see up in Chicago. That's Jeff Samardzija, now doing a pretty good job for them out of the rotation.
When he is on, he is very, very good. Throwing the ball very hard. He's done some time in the bullpen for the Cubs the last few years. They say he's throwing hard. He's got the stamina to keep that fastball going right up till the end of the ball game.
And he got the Tim Lincecum hair look going this year. Another broken bat on a pitch from Queto. This one breaks the lumber of Matt Downs, who goes back to the 3rd base dugout for more.
I'll leave the fashion critique to you. Doing a good job on that. Tim Lincecum comparison there.
Lincecum, though, cut a little bit of his hair recently.
Did he?
2 or 3 inches off the back.
What, do you follow his blog or what?
Watch him pitch on television. See, unlike you, I follow the game. Not just when we're here.
Well, maybe you should do play-by-play and analysis.
Oh, no, I couldn't do that. Got him on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Johnny Cueto. 2 in a row. All right, let's go back to our AT&T trivia question. 2 players with the most career home runs without having an inside the park home run. Jim Thome and Frank Robinson.
Wow.
Jim Thome with 604 and Frank Robinson 586. Neither have an inside the park home run. The tie-ins, Robinson, of course, the former Red, and Jim Thome from my hometown.
Oh, there you go. Which would be right outside of Peoria, Illinois. Is that it?
Yeah, from Bartonville, Illinois. Right outside Peoria.
So they see a Jim Thome statue as they drive into town and Jim Kelch statue as they drive out of town.
I think they see the Jim Thome both ways.
And how long is this hair?
Very, very short. Thome parents did not allow long hair, any of their youngins. Information for our trivia question and the answers provided by the Sabre home run log data today. The Sabre folks, boy, they can crank out some information.
You're not kidding about that. Do you remember Sabre?
I am not. You?
Yes, I am. I may end up following Tim Lincecum's blog, though. Sounds like it's a lot more interesting.
You don't have to go to his blog to take a look at his hair.
How about Johnny Cueto's here? You want to give us a little critique of that fashion?
It's the former Edinson Volquez look, isn't it? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
A little more in control than EV's. Good pick there by Cozart, and a throw on to first to retire Chris Johnson. Well, he is just smooth at shortstop, and as you said,
well, he's all over the place.
Presence.
I mean, you know, he goes into the hole and makes a catch. He started a double play in the 4th inning against Chris Johnson that got Johnny Cueto 2/3 of out of the way out of that inning with a couple of runners on.
So 2 men out for Chris Snyder, who's 0 for 2.
How about Johnny Cueto when he wants to, even after 118 pitches, still up there at 94 miles an hour. And that may be the hardest ball he's thrown all day long. And this is the impressive thing that I see about Queto over the last couple of years, is that he doesn't exert himself to 100% on every pitch. I mean, he's throwing 89, 90, then he throws a changeup at 84, then all of a sudden, zip, 94 miles an hour. Next pitch comes back in there, a changeup at 84. So he gets it now, the importance of changing speeds.
His 120th pitch hit to third, rolling from his knees, got him at first. Wow. I mean to tell you, the Reds are flashing leather here this afternoon. This time, it's rolling. Stretch time in the 7th inning. Another look at the Gold Glover rolling. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Reds out-of-market game live, online, and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. New pitcher on for the Astros. This is the left-hander, Wesley Wright, who relieves the starter, Lucas Harrell, in inning number 7. Numbers on Wright. He gets lefty, righty, lefty. Votto, Phillips, Bruce here in the 7th. How about when we were away, Nick Lachey singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" here at the ballpark. He is serving today as an honorary captain for the game, attending the game as part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters fundraiser event here at the ballpark. Johnson throws out Votto. First out, 7th inning. Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM. Phillips a pair of hits today. A couple of runs scored. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. Two out. Big day for this man now, Jay Bruce, with a big one for Queto as well. Reds have had action in the bullpen. Logan Ondrusek was up and throwing. 7 innings for Johnny Cueto. He retired the last 7 he faced, and 10 of the last 11.
We're going to have to ask Johnny Cueto after the ball game if his mother cooked him sancocho, which is the dish that she likes to cook him on days that he really needs a win. Either that or pork chops.
What's that? What is that include?
It's a soup that has pork in it and vegetables, potatoes, things like that.
You ever had any?
Yeah.
And?
Delicious. In fact, I think that Johnny brings his mom up here to the States just about all summer long so she can cook for him and anybody else in that ball club that needs to get out of a slump. You may want to head over there.
Can I think about it?
Sure.
Bruce, a strikeout victim. Reds go in order for the 2nd inning in a row. We head to the 8th. Johnny Queto in a bid to go 3-0. He put up just superb numbers.
Well, he did. It was just more than the numbers, though. It's the effort that Johnny Cueto gives this ball club when, you know, you lose a couple of games in a row and you're looking for somebody to pitch a good game, take control of the ball game right from the very beginning. Now, he had a long first inning, but he worked out of a bases-loaded jam. He had a couple of other innings where he had the leadoff runner on, but he was able to work out of those jams as well. And that's what a stopper does. So 13 times now, Johnny Queto has taken the ball for the Reds after they have lost 2 in a row. And previous to today, the record is 9-3. He hopes to run that record to 10-3. That'd be some kind of a mark as a real stopper.
Reds 6 outs away from accomplishing just that as they work into the 8th inning with a new pitcher in, Logan Ondrusek.
Now, Logan Ondrusek, one of those guys that the Reds selected in the 2005 draft along with Jay Bruce. He was the first guy in that draft that the Reds picked, and the 12th pick in the first round, but the Reds did a whole bunch of other guys as well. Ondrusek just one of them.
This guy did a great job the other night, didn't he, in the Giants series, working an inning and 2/3 in relief of Bailey.
He's really on top of his game right now, and one reason why is he's been able to regain his curveball.
How about Cozart? That guy is making every play available today, flashing all sorts of defensive leather behind Reds pitching. No play too tough.
Boy, whether by ground or by air, you're out if Zach Cozart can get to it.
That was Brian Bixler pinch hitting for Wright, and he is taken care of by Cozart. Top of the order now, Jordan Schaefer. Been on once, 1 out of 3. He's kept his on-base streak alive at 21 games.
Getting back to that comment about Logan Ondrusek, I mean, he's got a good fastball and he's got a very good split finger pitch, but you know, you always want something else, even as a reliever. Unless you're really an overpowering guy, you'd like to have a third pitch that you go to. His third pitch is a slow curveball that he just kind of drops in there. There you saw it right there. It's going to be somewhere around 78 to 82 miles an hour. His fastball is around 92.
In the air, will it hang up? It will, and Stubbs hauls it in. Tonight is soccer night in Ohio. The Crew look to even their record when the Vancouver Whitecaps visit Columbus. Dwight Burgess and Duncan Oten bring you all the action, beginning at 7:30 right here on your home of the Columbus Crew, Fox Sports Ohio. Waving is Altuve.
And that's the curveball I was talking about. And it's a great get-ahead pitch because you throw it in there on the first pitch, and now the hitter is 0-1, and he really hasn't seen any of your real good pitches, which is your fastball and your splitter. There's the fastball.
Big Ondrusek trying to make it 10 Astros in a row set down if he can get Altuve.
It's kind of unfair, and I mean, Ondrusek is 6'8", and he's facing a guy 5'5".
No one said it was going to be fair, Chris.
Yeah. He's trying to get a little PSI into those batting gloves, though.
Wonder if he does that all season.
I don't know. Here we go again. Left one. Here we go. Okay. I wonder if they have batting gloves where you can kind of pump them up, like the old, you know, the gym shoes they used to have, where you pump them up so that they fit better. He wouldn't have to take them off and blow in them. He just like pump them up on the back a little bit.
He was totally fooled on that. That's a strikeout for Ondrusek, his first, and that is 10 Astros in a row been retired by Reds pitching. Ohio has been brought to you by CCHMC, Cincinnati Children's, in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals, and by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. How about our Miller Time moment of this afternoon's game, delivered by none other than Jay Bruce in the bottom of the 5th with Phillips aboard, giving him 6 home runs on the year, 3 in 3 days, 4 RBIs this afternoon, helping the Reds at the time take a 6-0 lead, and that's where we stand right now. Bruce's home run, our Miller Time moment. Meanwhile, changes for the Astros, including a new pitcher. Brandon Lyon is into the game.
Brandon Lyon, who missed most of last year, had arm problems, shoulder problems, had labrum surgery, and hopefully for Brandon, he's healthy this year and back throwing the ball the way he can, because when he's on, he's got very good stuff. Projected at one time to be this team's closer.
In the air toward shallow center. Now Altuve will haul it down. Don't miss your chance to be one of the first 25,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, May the 12th, to take home your very own Joey Votto bobblehead presented by the Ohio Lottery. This year's bobblehead commemorates Joey's first Rawlings Gold Glove Award. For tickets to see the Reds and the Nationals on May 12th, call 513-381-REDS or select Kroger locations or Reds.com. He beat out an infield hit his last time. He's 1 for 3. Meanwhile, Aroldis Chapman up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. So do the other changes for the Astros. Justin Maxwell into the game playing center. Schaefer out. Lyon in the number 1 spot in the order. There's the hard-throwing southpaw. That Expo replay courtesy of Performance Honda. Reds are going to the 9th inning looking for their second shutout win of the year. And if it is indeed Chapman who comes on to work the 9th, he'll have Lowry, Martinez, and Buck 3, 4, 5 in Brad Mills' Astros lineup. Well, you got to tip your cap to the crowd today. 32,971 on a very cool Saturday afternoon here in Cincinnati. Up 3,000 more, almost 4,000 more than were here last night. Weather's going to be better tomorrow for the 110 game. Heisey strikes out. And there are 2 men gone. Starters right now, the pitchers of record. Queto, 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits. Lucas Harrell for the Astros. 6 innings, 6 runs, only 5 earned, 9 hits. Reds can hang on. Not only would Queto go to 3-0, but the Reds would be 4-1 in his 5 starts. So here's Hannigan, 1 for 3. Dusty's club, 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the 5th today. Chris Spire looks on as well. Come for the Reds, stay for more fun. Visit the new exhibition, A Day in Pompeii at Cincinnati Museum Center. Make it a weekend getaway. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. Hannigan chased it, didn't get it. 3 straight 1-2-3 frames for Astro pitching, which sets us up for the 9th inning. Going in, 6-0 Reds. Boy, we saw some defense played by the Reds today, but none better than this one by Cozart, taking a hit away from J.D. Martinez in the 6th inning, and that deserves another look. And he got him by a step. Quick reaction and throw by Zach Cozart from his backside in the hole at short. John Merrill hot dog play of the game. New pitcher on for the Reds. Aroldis Chapman relieves Logan Ondrusek. Ondrusek 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Now 13 straight scoreless appearances for Big Logan, and he gives way to the flamethrower Chapman.
Well, they need to get Chapman a little bit of a tune-up. He was in 3 days ago, so he's had enough rest to be nice and sharp. That was an inning of 1-hit baseball, a couple of strikeouts against the Giants. I think it's very important to keep Chapman on some kind of a regular routine as far as his pitching, so that he can continue to smooth out that delivery and make sure that he doesn't get any quirks in it that he ends up losing his control. That was the problem with him last year. We have not seen anything like that this year. He has been all over the strike zone.
I think it's Jed Lowry turned around, hitting from his better side, the right side, to lead off the 9th inning. 333 from this side of the plate, under 200 as a left-handed hitter, and in today's game, 1 out of 3.
Crowd thought that one sounded good. Jeez. Foxtracks had it pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's a full count now to the leadoff hitter.
6-0 ball game in the 9th inning. No reason why that strike zone should shrink.
And ball 4. So Lowry draws the walk to start inning number 9. Only the second walk issued by Reds pitching. Remember, Chapman hadn't walked anyone until he walked 2 in the game on Sunday in Chicago. He walks his 3rd of the year.
Yeah, that was a tough day to pitch. If you remember, Jim, and you do because you were up in the TV booth with me. You were freezing, shivering, cold that day. Had to be a very difficult day just to be able to grip the baseball and throw it for a strike. You had a hard time gripping that number 2 pencil.
I did. Shallow right. Phillips will give way to Bruce, and Jay has it. Here's our Mazda pitch-by-pitch sequence now with Chapman against J.D. Martinez.
The key to this particular sequence is the last pitch he throws. That's a slider right there. Even at 95 miles an hour, that can be hitting speed. If the hitter sees it enough, he'll be able to react to it. So it's one of the reasons why Chapman has been so good this year, and you can be challenged to name a better reliever in all of baseball right now than Aroldis Chapman, is because he's been getting both of his pitches, that fastball and his slider, and that split finger pitch that he uses as a changeup, all of them over for strikes.
Travis Buck in there batting against a lefty for the first time this year. Well, he is just talking about Chapman dominant against left-handers, hitting .095 against him in his career.
It's like facing a team of pitchers when you're hitting .095 against.
That's a good analogy right there.
So I keep my analyst job, and
for now.
Okay, boss.
Reds won via the shutout opening day here against Miami, 4-0 behind Johnny Cueto. It's their only shutout win this year. The Astros have been shut out once. That was on the road at Washington, 1-0. Buck's going to get himself a flare hit into left center in his first AB against a lefty this year, and it comes against Chapman.
He'll be in Brad Mills' office after the game saying, I want to start against all lefties. I just hit the best one in the league. Or at least the best reliever in the league. 1-0.
Now it's Matt Downs. Double play would end it. Foul ball out of play. RBI triple by Phillips. RBI single by Rowland in the first made it 2-0. 2-run double by Bruce in the third made it 4-0. 2-run homer by Bruce in the fifth. His 6th of the year, his 3rd in 3 days, made it 6-0. That's where we are now in the 9th. 2 on with 1 out. Stubbs gives chase back into his right and makes the play for out number 2. Chapman trying to make it 9 straight appearances this year without allowing a run. Tack on to the 5 that he had at the end of last year. Trying to make it 14 straight appearances since he allowed 2 runs against the Colorado Rockies on the 10th of September out in Denver last year. Trying to even this series at a game apiece. Trying to go 3-2 through the first 5 games of this 9-game homestand. And now Chapman will deliver a 2-2 pitch to Chris Johnson here in the top of the 9th. From second and Buck from first. Everybody on their feet here at the ballpark. There they go. And ball 4. So a pair of walks in the inning means Chapman will face Snyder, the catcher, with the bases loaded and 2 men out. You mentioned he may, as Brian Price now jogs out of the dugout, the pitching coach of the Reds, he had a hard time gripping the ball last week in Chicago. Could that be the case again today?
Well, I don't think so. This is nowhere near the rough conditions that we had there. That day the wind was blowing very, very hard. It was much colder than it is today. It didn't affect Johnny Cueto, and it really didn't affect the other pitcher either, Lucas Harrell, all that much. He only walked 1. Cueto walked 1. I think he just out of sync a little bit. Looks to me like he's just overthrowing just a hair. So somebody went out there and told a joke. Either Hannigan went out there, or maybe Brian Price and Joey Votto, who's been taking Spanish lessons, maybe interpreted that joke for him. Or maybe he just interpreted what Brian Price said, interpreted it wrong, and it came out funny to Chapman.
That's a good point. Meanwhile, Sean Marshall has gotten up in the Reds bullpen. Here's Snyder. He's 0 for 3. 3 times is grounded out. That one got away, but it bounces off the hard backing behind home plate. Came back to Hannigan, so much so that Lowry had to stay put at third. End result of all that, ball 1.
I've not looked it up, Jim, but you may have it quickly to be able to look up. Is this the first time that Aroldis Chapman has closed a game out like this? And he's got everybody standing up, and they're cheering, and I think he's got that adrenaline push going, and I think he's just trying to overthrow the ball a little bit too much. Most of his appearances this year, if not all of them, have been in the late innings, but not at the very end of the ball game, where he's had at home everybody else up and just kind of on the edge of their seat wanting him to blow the opposition away, and he's kind of getting caught up into it.
Well, he works here at 2-0. And now 3-0.
Jeez.
Well, the last thing that Dusty Baker wants to do is get Sean Marshall in this game.
And the other last thing is to run Chapman's pitch count up so he can't come into tomorrow's game.
He's thrown 28 pitches now as he works here in the top of the ninth with the bases loaded, 2 out. And from 3-0 now to 3-2. So now everybody up again. Just shy of 33,000 here at Great American Ballpark. Wanting a strike from Chapman to secure the win for the Reds in Queto. And we'll do it again.
I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with the number of people that stayed around here this afternoon. Normally, win or lose when there's a big spread in the ball game, and it's been 6-0, and it seems like the Reds have been in control most of the game. A lot of these people have stayed.
Even in the far reaches of this ballpark, they're still here.
It's exciting.
Got
there it is.
Reds win it 6-0 over the Houston Astros, their second shutout win of the year. They even this series at 1 game apiece, and they set up the rubber match here tomorrow at 1:10, which will feature Matt Latos against Jordan Lyles. Well, we really saw some very good pitching today, Chris, out of Johnny Cueto, but some tremendous defense behind him.
Well, we've always said that defense and pitching go so closely hand in hand that you really can't have one without the other. And Jay Bruce hit a home run. He now is really getting hot as the calendar begins to roll over into the month of May. And Johnny Queto pitched another gem. Great defense. Dusty Baker, after seeing his ball club lose a couple of games in a row, has to be very happy with the way they rebounded today.
Reds win it by the final score of 6-0. And we'll come back with more from Great American Ballpark right after this.